Welcome back to another explainer. Today we're unpacking a really fascinating piece of source material. We're looking at a highly structured, biblical framework regarding the afterlife. When it comes to what happens after we die, there are just countless theories out there. But the text we're analyzing today breaks down the promise and scope of the resurrection into incredibly distinct categories. So let's map out exactly how this text categorizes the future of humanity.
It all really starts with this staggering reality. Think about it for a second. Billions of people have died since Adam and Eve. So what actually lies ahead for all these people? It's literally the ultimate human question, isn't it? The source material frames this massive scale of human death as the direct consequence of a historical rebellion against Jehovah God. We're talking about billions of lives over the entire course of human history. That creates a massive information gap. What exactly is the resolution for all of these individuals?
Well, the text gives us a foundational answer right here. It quotes Acts 24:15, which says, "There is going to be a resurrection of both the righteous and the unrighteous." This single sentence is basically the thesis statement for everything we're going to explore today. It establishes that death isn't necessarily the permanent end for humanity, and it introduces two major categories of people who will experience this promised resurrection.
Okay, let's dive into this map of eternity. We'll be looking at 1. The universal fate. 2. The heavenly 144,000. 3. The righteous on earth. 4. Hope for the unrighteous. And 5. The irredeemably wicked.
Section 1. The universal fate. The consequences of a historic rebellion. To understand the resurrection, we really have to establish the root problem first. The source traces the origin of universal death back to a very specific historical event. It states that ever since Adam and Eve joined Satan and rebelled against Jehovah God, billions of humans have died. This frames human mortality not just as a biological given, but as a direct result of that initial rebellion. It sets the stage for why this resurrection promise is absolutely crucial. All those billions of people require a solution.
Moving to Section 2, the heavenly 144,000, Christ's faithful followers.
Now, what's really interesting about this number is just how absolutely specific it is. The source explicitly points out that this is a limited number. We're not talking about a general, uncountable multitude here. It is exactly 144,000 in all, based on Revelation 14:1. This tells us right away that we're looking at a highly exclusive category within the broader resurrection framework.
So who actually makes up this limited group? Well, the text defines them very clearly. The 144,000 are Christ's faithful followers who receive a very distinct reward, a resurrection to immortal life in heaven. The really crucial takeaway here is the location and the nature of that life. Unlike the rest of humanity, which we'll look at next, this specific, limited group is uniquely granted an immortal, heavenly existence.
Section 3. The righteous on earth. A vast number of faithful men and women.
Shifting gears from that limited number in heaven, we see a totally different destiny for another group. Drawing on Daniel 12:13 and Hebrews 12:1, the text describes a vast number of faithful men and women who love Jehovah. But here's the key difference. These righteous individuals are slated to live forever on earth rather than in heaven. It's a completely different scope of salvation, meant for a much, much larger portion of faithful humanity.
But, that eternal earthly life isn't just a free pass. It comes with some specific conditions. The text outlines a powerful sequence. First, there's the resurrection of the righteous, and they enter Christ's millennial reign. And then there's a final test. The source makes it clear that they'll live forever on earth only if they remain righteous during that millennium and pass that final test. It's an ongoing, dynamic process of faithfulness.
Section 4. Hope for the unrighteous, an opportunity to change.
Now, this is a category that honestly surprises a lot of people because it reveals that the resurrection isn't just reserved for those who are already faithful. Who are the unrighteous? The text is very frank about this. Using John 5:29 and Luke 23:42-43, it points out that this group includes individuals who never served Jehovah. Even more striking, it includes people who practiced vile things. So we're talking about people with significantly flawed pasts who entirely lacked faithful devotion during their previous lives.
And this brilliantly illustrates a really profound if-then scenario. On one hand, you have the dark reality of their past actions, never serving, practicing vile things. But on the other, you have this incredible future opportunity. The text states that during the millennium, this group will actually be given a chance to change their ways and become faithful. Their past does not automatically erase their future potential.
Finally, Section 5, the irredeemably wicked, no resurrection at all. While there's an amazing opportunity for change extended to the unrighteous, the source material draws a very firm, distinct line when it comes to the wicked. Citing Luke 12:4-5, the text notes that some humans were so wicked that God has decided there will be no resurrection for them at all. For those deemed irreversibly wicked within this framework, the prospect of life ends permanently. No heavenly life, no earthly life, and no second chances during the millennium.
So we've explored the heavenly calling of the 144,000, the earthly hope of the righteous, the incredible opportunity extended to the unrighteous during the millennium, and the absolute finality faced by the wicked. With these distinct paths laid out so clearly in the text, how does this vast framework change your understanding of the promised resurrection? For more information, please visit jw.org. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and press the bell icon to get the notification for new videos.